Hello and welcome to SatTV Week, the news programme for the international satellite industry. This week, Brian Dolby talks to Jean-Pierre de Muyt, VP Global Sales New Tech. James Shortland reports on Hylas 1 and Tricia Jones has all the launch news. But first, here's Carrie-Anne with the news headlines.
Vizada has been awarded a contract which provides US government and military customers access to its entire portfolio of mobile satellite services. It is the only commercial satellite communications provider offering the full line of Inmarsat, Iridium and Thuraya products and services. Bo Norton, VP of Sales for Vizada Americas, told SatTV Week that the company is packaging its services precisely in the way the government buys them, which streamlines the procurement process so customers can quickly and cost-effectively satisfy their MSS needs. Phoenix Satellite has signed a contract to distribute a new free-to-air Cantonese language channel, Phoenix Hong Kong, through AsiaSat 3S's multiple channels per carrier platform. Utilising C-band capacity on AsiaSat 3S, located at 105.5 degrees east, and the MCPC and uplinking facilities from AsiaSat's Tai Po Earth Station in Hong Kong, the Phoenix Hong Kong channel commenced broadcasting, offering viewers in Hong Kong and across the Asia-Pacific a wide variety of Cantonese programming, including news, financial and business content. Phoenix TV also delivers 3 Mandarin language channels on AsiaSat 3S.
Carrie-Anne will be back later with more news. Now, last week, Brian Dolby was at Convergence India, where he spoke to New Tech's Jean-Pierre de Muyt about the 2015 target for digitisation.
Jean-Pierre, you've just given a presentation to the conference today. Tell us the main highlights.
Hi Brian. Well, the main highlight of the presentation, or the topic of the presentation itself, was digitization by 2015. How realistic is it? So it covers a broad spectrum basically of activities in the TV market, both the satellite market, which NewTek has been familiar with for over 20 years, but also the cable market. So it addresses how quickly the digitization in India is moving forward and what the impact is both for the vendors in that market and obviously also for the users. So we started off together with some other members of the panels in providing some market feedback on how that digitization is moving forward nowadays. And what it shows is that in India the digitization is actually going pretty slow, but nevertheless the overall market of TV is growing in quite a spectacular rate. It's actually an annual growth rate of 20%, which is absolutely staggering. And it's a growth rate that is actually, or penetration that is quite spectacular if you compare it to other regions in the market. So it does represent huge opportunities for vendors such as NewTek in actually contributing significantly to that digitization effort. And luckily we're active in both the broadcast market as in the data market. And our activities, for example, specifically in the broadcast market in contributing to that digitization is to make it more affordable for the satellite service providers to actually use more bit rate, use more capacity, paying for the same amount of space segment over the satellite. So basically reducing the cost of operating the platform. And that's actually the case not only for satellite services, but it's just as well the case for cable operators, because as we know, within the Indian market, 90% is still covered by cable. So people are watching TV over the cable network. And you might think, well, that has nothing to do with satellite. Well, in fact, NewTek is very active also in the contribution market. So a lot of those cable head ends are actually fed over satellite. So satellite is a pretty important technology nowadays. And in this growth market, it will continue to be over the future.
Yes, I mean, I would imagine that's why you're actually here live, shall we say, this week. I know you have a considerable presence in the Indian market, but is this one of the factors in NewTek being here in person?
Well, yes, indeed. In fact, it's actually the first time that we have our own presence here on Convergence India 2011. Although we've been active in Asia for the last 10 years, we are concentrating more and more on the Indian market, and I've just referred to the annual growth rates of the TV market, so there's plenty of reason for us to concentrate on this market. And this year basically is the first year of our own presence, and we will continue to work with existing partners and basically rely on them to be together with us more successful on the Indian market. So yes, we are focusing definitely as from this year on the Indian market, as we have been doing for Asia for the last 10 years.
Yes, it is the 10th anniversary of obviously you arriving in Asia, but generally now NewTek is a truly global player. What are some of the other territories in your capacity as global sales that you see particularly interesting growth and new trends?
Well, one of our more important markets obviously has been the European market, where we have been successful not only in our traditional core bread and butter business, I would say, in terms of broadcast, but definitely also in bridging the digital divide, believe it or not. And one might not think of Europe as being the main issue of bridging the digital divide. Nevertheless, we've succeeded recently to sell 100,000 terminals for our satellite triple play product portfolio in Europe. So that was a very important milestone, and it still continues to be a growth market. And of course, once you start talking about bridging the digital divide, we definitely should not forget about Africa and South America, which are moving forward for us, markets that have become extremely important and will continue to do so over the next couple of years, specifically for that product portfolio of broadband access over internet access over satellite rather. So that's definitely those two are extremely important markets moving forward.
Well, I'm sure we'll hear more about NewTek's successes in the near future. It's nice to catch up with you here in India, and thanks for speaking to SatTV Week.
Thank you, Brian. It was a pleasure.
Now it's all systems go for Hylas 1, the first satellite created specifically to deliver broadband access to European consumers. Since its launch in November, Hylas has been undergoing in-orbit testing and is now ready for commercial service. James has the story.
ESA's new testing facility in Redu, Belgium has been carrying out an extensive series of tests on the performance of the satellite's communication payloads. The tests have confirmed that the payload, including the antennas, is in good health, operating correctly, and shows no ill effects from space. The highly adaptable payload was developed by Astrium with the assistance of ESA's ARTES program, which has devoted years to developing satellite broadband technologies, several of which are being put to work on Hylas 1. According to Andrew Murrell, ESA's Hylas 1 payload manager, of the 66 active units forming the payload, 48 were developed under this ARTES project. This is ESA's first public-private partnership in a full satellite system and will provide European broadband coverage as well as TV distribution and other services. The bulk of the mission is financed by commercial operator Avanti Communications, and the company's CEO David Williams said that in such a vast market with so much growth in data demand and a strong customer base already committed, we are highly confident of achieving rapid commercial success for this powerful and flexible satellite.
Communic Asia 2011. Asia's largest knowledge-based ICT platform is the most recognised one-stop knowledge platform for digital multimedia and entertainment technology.
In other news, MDA, who developed and built the Sapphire monitoring system that will routinely monitor thousands of space objects around the clock, as well as providing data on several hundred objects of interest within hours of observation, has received a contract worth $11 million from Canada's Department of National Defence to operate and maintain the system for 5 years following system commissioning. NASA's Stardust spacecraft, built and flown by Lockheed Martin, sent its last transmission to Earth on March 24, shortly after depleting fuel and ceasing operations. Launched in February 1999, Stardust flew past the asteroid named Anne Frank and travelled halfway to Jupiter to collect the particle samples from the comet Wild 2. The spacecraft returned to Earth's vicinity to drop off a sample return capsule, and with its final radio transmission concluded, history's most travelled comet hunter will move from NASA's active mission roster to retired. Now here's Tricia with more launch news.
Earlier this week, Japan's HGV-2 Konotori robotic cargo spaceship undocked from the ISS and entered the Earth's atmosphere, with the unburnt fragments falling into the Pacific Ocean. The ship arrived at the 16-nation orbital outpost on January the 27th, carrying about 5 metric tons of cargo, including food and water supplies and equipment. It was the second Japanese spacecraft to dock with the space station and will be followed by another 7 Japanese cargo ships in the next 4 years. On Tuesday, Texas 49 was successfully launched with the VSB-30 rocket to an altitude of 268 kilometres. 4 scientific experiments were performed during 6 minutes of microgravity. The payload landed 90 kilometres north of Estrange within the Estrange impact area and was recovered by helicopter. All 4 experiments on board have flown on previous Texas campaigns. To fly several times means that the instruments can be modified since their last flight in order to bring the scientific process forward. The Texas program started in 1977 and rocket launches are carried out at the Estrange Space Center jointly by the Swedish Space Corporation, DLR and EADS Astrium.
And now here's Carrie-Anne with more news.
Skylogic and skyDSL Global have extended their long-standing partnership with an initial 5-year $4.5 million contract, enabling skyDSL to market the next-generation two-way service provided by KA-SAT, Eutelsat's powerful new high-throughput satellite. The service, which will be available mid-2011 with KA-SAT's entry into service, will be provided on an international basis in Germany, Spain, France, Italy and Ireland, offering consumers and small businesses download speeds of up to 10 megabits per second and upload speeds of up to 4 megabits per second. MESAT Satellite Systems has an agreement with Global Crossing to distribute the Setanta Sports channel via the MESAT 3A satellite. Setanta owns and operates premium sports TV channels to residential and commercial customers through satellite, cable, broadband and mobile distribution. Jared Lopez, MESAT's Director of Sales Broadcast Services, said that Setanta Sports brings the total number of sports channels on the MESAT 3A video platform to 8, adding that 91.5 degrees east is fast becoming the prime location for quality sports content in the region.
And finally, ESA has appointed a team of directors who will assist the Director General in the reorganised structure that takes effect on 1st of April. The idea behind changing the structure is to make ESA more competitive and efficient and to increase its added value for member states and third parties. The timing is associated with the start of the 3rd mandate of the Director General, Jean-Jacques Dodin, who wanted the Council to appoint a team of directors as soon as possible for the duration of this mandate, which extends his term until 2015. That's all for this week. Thank you for watching.